Today's topic will be how to work with post and page formats within WordPress. The good news is that you really won't have to learn both, because once you learn how to work with one, you'll automatically know how to deal with the other. There are very few differences between the two, and I'll point them out as we go along. So let's begin by adding a new post. We're going to go to our dashboard. We're going to pick Posts, and then Add New. The first thing we'll be asked to do is enter a title. And we're going to use Summer Bounty as our title, or Summer Garden Bounty. Now, there are ways that you can optimize your title for SEO, which is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is beyond the scope of this particular post, but do know that anything you put as your title here should be headline worthy for your posts and your pages. So we've chosen Summer Garden Bounty here for our post title. Now we're working within the post editing panel, and this looks very much the same within your page editing panel. The difference between the two is that within your page editing panel, you will not have categories and you will not have tags, but you will have all of the other features that you see here. The publish, the format may say layout, and the set featured image, which we'll discuss next, will be the same in pages. Now you might be looking at this and saying, well, gee, I'm not seeing here on the right these images or these panels that you're saying are there. That may be because in your screen options, you have set this viewing area to be one column instead of two. So if you go up to screen options, you can see that if I select the one column option, now all those options that were at my right have become stacked up, and they're down below the area where I would write my post information. Personally, I prefer the two-column view, so I'm going to go back to that, but I'll leave it to you to pick your preference for your editing. On to the featured image. For each post and page, you can set a featured image, and we're going to do that now by locating the featured image panel, whether it's on the right or down below. Click on Set Featured Image. This will take you into your image library or your media library. The media library holds all media, which includes any audio or video as well as image files. And I happen to see the image that I think would be awesome with this particular post, so I'm going to click on it, and you can see that it's been selected, and I will set it as my featured image. Before I do that, I would like to fill in the alt text, because the alt text is an important area that is looked at by search engines as well as screen readers. So let's call this Summer Crop Bounty. And here we'll set the featured image, and that will put that image as part of the featured image in my post. You'll notice that it's appearing down right over here, and you might have expected to see it in this part of your post here. We're going to publish it and take a look at what it looks like. We'll just put some text over here so that you can see how it's positioned as the feature image. So let's hit Publish. And just a note before we go out and view it on the front end, if you look here at the publishing options that you have, you'll notice that the visibility when you're working in your post is by default set to be public. When you're working on something and you're not quite ready to unveil it to the public, you might want to change this visibility option to be private. If you set it to private, only you will be able to view it while you're working on it, and then you can go back and set it to public later when it's all ready to be unveiled. There's another option here that I'll call your attention to while we're on this particular feature, and that's password protected. This may be something that you want to do if you have a specific piece of content that you're only going to share with some very limited people and you do not want to give it total public exposure. The minute I click password protected, you'll note that it'll prompt me to put in a password over here. I'm not going to check that option now. I'm going to go back to the private as I described because I'm not ready for this to be viewed by the general public, and I'll hit OK. And then you'll need to hit update just to be sure that it saved your changes. We're going to go out now, if you recall, and look at the featured image positioning on the post itself. Now you can see here that it's put that featured image that we picked right above our title. And the fortunate or unfortunate thing about a featured image is that your theme decides where that image will be positioned and how big it will be on the post or page. So when you go back and you add other images to your post, you'll see that you have a lot more capabilities with positioning and size. Right now we're going to go in and we're going to add some additional images for our garden bounty here. Our garden also has some really great veggies. So let's position our cursor over here next to our garden. I'm going to take out some text and we'll just position this up. So we're going to go to the Add Media button here. You can use this button to add any media, which again is audio or video that you might want to upload, and images. So let's hit the Add Media button. And now suppose that I don't see the image that I'm looking for to add that other veggie picture to this post or page. I can choose the Upload tab here and select that media from my computer to upload. So I'm going to pick this particular image here, and I'm going to put those peppers in, those hot red chili peppers, into my post. I'm going to also add the alt text. As I noted before, it's important for SEO as well as for screen readers. So let's insert that into the post. Now you'll see that visually this particular image is now within the post writing area. You can add as many images as you like within your posts and pages, and you can have both featured images and additional images. It all depends upon what you want to do to support the story, article, post, or item that you're writing about. Now if you click on the image that you just put in, you'll notice that you have this editing bar pop up. We have the ability to now align this image left, center, or right. We can experiment with different things, and you can see how it will move your image around based upon what you select. I think we'll go back with the alignment of left. Now suppose that you didn't want to have this image in this size. You could go forward and click on this pencil option here, and this will bring you to the additional image details. Here you can put a caption which will show on the front end. It's not necessary to put a caption, but if you like, you might put red hot peppers or something descriptive of your particular image for the post. Again, if you've changed your mind about the alignment, you can use the alignment here to change it up. And here is where the size of the image that you have in here comes into play. Typically, the size that you have to choose from in this drop-down is based upon the size that you've set up under your Settings Media panel on the dashboard. Some themes restrict the sizes that it allows to put in the posts, but you can always get around that by the custom size here. I think we had the thumbnail out on this particular post. I think we'll go with full size. So we'll change that. And it says link to media file. That means that if someone clicked on this image, it would open up to the actual file. I don't know that's necessary for what I'm doing, so I'm going to put none. There are other choices that you could make. You could also make an attachment page which might have more information about your image, or a custom URL which might bring you somewhere else entirely. It's your choice. But for this particular demonstration, we're going to pick none. And the advanced image options we won't touch upon in this particular demonstration, but may touch upon at a future date. So now that we've made the changes to our image details, we're going to select the Update button in the bottom right-hand corner here to bring our changes into our post. And you can see that now I have the caption, Red Hot Peppers, and the image has gotten larger. So let's update this and take a look at the post on the front end. Now you can see how that default picture image from the featured image shows up atop of your title, and then you can see within the body of your post how the image is different. Well, we're not quite done with this post, so let's go back in and edit it again. But we have it still set to private, and let's talk a bit about formats. So in this theme, the formats have stood pretty much at the default formats that come with a typical WordPress install. We have these different formats here which you can choose to use for your post. Some of them are specific to the type of content, as you'll see with the audio and the image, the link and the quote. You can explore changing these and trying these up on your own. Sometimes instead of a format, over here on the right you'll find that there is a layout scenario where you will have the ability to either have your post be a full page or a full page and a sidebar, or just no sidebar at all. We'll take a look at this closer when we go to the page options and take a look at that. So let's hit update here. And let's now change this to a public, supposing that we're through and this is all we want to say about this. We'll now make this public and then we'll publish it. And here we have our one post that we've added. Now suppose you didn't want people to leave comments on this post. What you could do is you could go out to the All Posts here, and if you recall, we had Summer Garden Bounty. If you click on the Quick Edit feature, you'll see that we've allowed comments. If you unclick this and you update that right here, we'll go out and take a look at this post now. And you'll see that we still have comments enabled, which is not appropriate. Let's go back in and edit that post again. Oh, I picked the wrong post. That would explain why. Okay, Summer Garden Bounty is the one that we want to check. So let's go. We have appropriately taken off the allow comments. We don't need to update it, but let's go and view it now. And we're going to view the Summer Garden Bounty. And you'll now see that the comments are no longer enabled. I want to show you something that might trip you up a little bit when you're working with posts and pages. You might find up here you see that comments are allowed on the screen options. For some reason, this does not really work well, this check uncheck option. This is probably the one exception you'll find where these screen options are not effectively working okay. If you went out to the front end and the only place that you took off these comments were up here, let's just go back for a moment to the Summer Garden Bounty and do the quick edit. And we're going to put the comments back on here. And we'll go out and view it again. Now, if you recall, I took off the comments at the top of the screen options, and you can see that they're still allowed here. That's one of the quirky things that might trip you up. The only way that I've found to take the allowing of contents off is to go back into the all posts and go into the quick edit and remove it from right over here and update it. That might trip you up if you're having issues trying to get the comments off and you don't want them there. Just keep that in mind. So as I looked at the Summer Garden Bounty, I realized that we didn't set a category for it. And with posts, I feel it's really important to set a category. So let's go forward and add a category. So this clearly is not uncategorized. I believe it should go in the vegetable category and the pepper category. So to add the categories, you simply click on the ones that you want. If there were a new category, suppose you had something different here, say you had beets, and you wanted to add that as a new category, you would just click on the Add New Category button, and you could add your category here, beets. Well, I don't really think that these are beets, so I'm going to uncheck it, but that just shows you how easy it is to add a category. And of course, once you've changed something on here, you need to make sure that you hit the Update button so that the changes will be saved. Now, I'd like to call your attention to the Tags category, the Tags panel, I should say. Keep in mind again that categories and tags are only available on posts. Now, suppose that you had wanted to further refine your categories and tag them with something else. So let's say you were going to use this in a recipe. So let's add a tag called recipe here. And now not only will you be able to find this post by the category that it's in, but you could find it by this tag as well. And we'll explore the use of that in a moment. So I've added that tag of recipe here to this particular post, and I'm going to update it. Let's take a look at where we can use that category and the tagging ability somewhere else on the website. If you go to Appearance and Widgets, we have these sidebar areas where you can put categories of information. One of the things that you can put on the sidebar is this thing called a tag cloud. And we're going to add this tag cloud to the main widget area. Now you'll see here that we get this choice, and it says taxonomy. That's just another word for different ways to categorize things in computer speak. So we can call this what you want. We'll call it Find Out or Find Garden Goodies. And tags, you can display on the sidebar, you can display this cloud of tags or categories. Let's pick tags and save. And I'm also going to add another one so I can show you what it looks like to add categories as well. So here we're going to also say Find More Garden Goodies. You might not really add both of these in real life, but this is just to show you the capabilities that you have with categories and tags. So this one we'll choose categories and hit save. Now let's go out to visit our website. We'll go to the home page. And the main widget area happens to be down in the footer area over here on this particular theme. Another thing you'll find with themes is that positioning of sidebars is somewhat specific to the theme. But Find More Garden Goodies, and you can see that all the categories that we have here are shown. And I think because there was only one category of beets, which we didn't even use, is why it's not shown. So let's go in and go back to that post and add some other tags to it to see if we can show in the footer area that specific tag cloud. Okay, so we're going to add a tag, which realistically we probably wouldn't have both a tag of peppers. We could have red peppers. Let's have red peppers. And let's have, we have green beans in the other. Do we have green beans? We already have green beans. We have, how about if we say summer beans or something? I'm just trying to put some tags so that we can take a look and show you how all that might work out. So if we go down to the bottom over here, we should have something else and we're not having it. Summer garden bounty, chat, peppers, string beans, find more garden goodies. Perhaps I didn't hit save when I went forward and hit those different categories. Let's take a look, or different tags. Let's go into the widgets, and we have a tag cloud, find more garden goodies, and we have find garden goodies with tags. I think I'm going to move this to the secondary widget area to just see what happens there. Okay, so we should have, in the footer we should have find more garden goodies, and on the secondary area we should have find the garden goodies. So let's take a look at that. Okay. So we have our find more garden goodies down here in the footer still, and up on the right we have find garden goodies with recipe and yummy. And I'm thinking that perhaps I didn't tag those entries, although I added the tags. I probably am thinking that I didn't tag the post with the appropriate tags. Let's see. Sure, I only tagged it with recipe. So let's now give it a shot and let's add this to yummy. Okay. And let's add the tag, which I don't even see now. I don't think I hit enter. Red peppers. Okay, we have red peppers now. And let's say summer beans. Okay, and perhaps I didn't save the post last time. That's probably my downfall, which is a good example for you to recall that you should save your posts or update them. Ah, and here we have it. Much better. Find our garden goodies. We have the tags that we added to that particular post, which is recipe, red peppers, summer beans, and yummy. So if we click in here on red peppers, we're brought to that post that we made earlier. And if we go down here into the find more garden goodies, I believe we've called that vegetables as well. And you'll see that we have that post here under vegetables. Awesome, that's great. Let's move on to add a page. So to add a page, we'll go to our dashboard, and we're going to go to pages here on the dashboard menu, add new. And as you can see, the page opens up in a different view. It's opening up in that one column view. So I'm going to set it to the 2 columns. And I'm going to call your attention to the right-hand panel, which I noted earlier does not have categories for a page or tags for a page. So we're going to call this the best garden, or so let's call this summer beans features or recipes. And here we can set our featured image again, and we'll pick this one even though it's got other vegetables in there, and we'll follow the tradition of putting the alt text in here because we want to be good to screen readers and browsers to find the green bean pictures that we put out there. And recall that you can add another media type here if you wanted to. You could add the peppers, although I'm not sure, we're talking about summer beans. Maybe peppers don't make sense, but just for this purpose, we'll put that in there to show you that you can add more. And here we would put our text for our recipe for summer beans, Now over here on the right, as you recall, the publish options are set to draft and public visibility. You can change these, as we noted before, all the same as we looked at in posts. And you'll also note, and from an earlier series that I did, you can schedule your publishing right over here. And I won't touch on this now because there's a whole separate post devoted to scheduling your posts, but keep in mind that pages, keep in mind that you can set it for a future publication date right here, just the same as you can change it to draft. So now here in the page, you have these page attributes, and you have a parent page. So this is referring to if you had a hierarchy going on for your pages and you wanted to have this particular summer beans page, this summer beans recipe be the parent page of a number of recipes, for example. So you might have a page for each of the recipes that you have, and you could make this the parent, and you wouldn't necessarily do anything here to make it the parent, but when you added its children, you would use this page and you would make it the parent of future children. If you have multiples, you can set in order. So here you have it. That's how you would publish a page. And you just go forward and publish. And let's take a look at the all pages here before we go out and view the page. And we're going to do the quick edit. And you'll see that comments are not allowed by default here. And suppose you wanted to allow comments on this page, you would just click right here to allow the comments on the page on the front end. We're not going to do that now, but I wanted to show you that particular feature. So we'll go back to our summer beans recipes and we'll take a view, and you'll see that we have our featured image and the image we added, as well as our text and no comments. And right along the side of this, we have our recipe, our red peppers, summer beans, and yummy. These are the things that we set to the sidebar area, the main sidebar area, and this other down here where we have the Find More Garden Goodies. These are the categories, and these are the other tags. And that concludes our tutorial on how to add posts and pages. Before we totally conclude, I would like to just run through how you would go about editing a particular post or page. I think you might have guessed it because we kind of went over it a wee bit without my calling it out. So let's go to all posts. Let's take a look at that summer garden bounty. And you see as I mouse over, you see as we're sitting here in this list, you don't really see those options, but as you bring your mouse in and over, you can see that the features underneath the name or title of your post become enabled. And when I go over the summer garden bounty, I have the edit, quick edit, trash, and view options enabled. So you basically would just hit the edit under the item, and you're already familiar with what it looks like in here. You can just simply type your changes and then make sure you hit the update button. And your changes will be saved. And there you have it. And to edit a page, it's the same. You'd go into the all pages. And again, if you do the mouse over sort of trick that I showed you before, you can click on the edit button here, or you can also click on the title, which would allow you to edit. You can see that hand becomes enabled. So let's click on that. And now we can, let's add to this. And once again, once you've put something in here, this, when you first started with an add new, said publish, and now that you have stuff in here already that you've edited, it becomes an update. So let's go forward and update it. And let's view the page. And you can see we have what we added to the page. And now this really concludes our episode and our lesson on how to add and edit posts and pages.